Let's talk about the Des Plaines real estate market, what's been happening this year, and how it compares to first quarter 2025.
So the first quarter's over, so we're
Yep.
able to give you the statistics. So hope you're enjoying them. We always have a good time going over
Reviewing
the numbers.
everything.
So this is single-family homes. They call it detached single-family homes in Des Plaines area. In the first quarter 2025, there were a total of 81 properties that listed during that 3-month period.
Listed
First
January
sale.
1st.
January
through
1st to March 31st, 2025. There were 81 properties. Just so you know, that's really low, even for the first quarter. The average list price was $430,000. The average sale price was $436,000.
What does that mean?
That means that the average home sold for just above asking price.
Yeah.
So tells you one of a couple things, something that we've been saying for maybe going on 6 years now.
Right.
It is a seller's market. Demand is still exceeding supply. So lots of supply and demand. You got the cross, got the axes. So demand still exceeding supply, and there's the proof of it right there that the sales prices are higher than the asking prices.
Right.
So
Speaking of prices, though, if we look at the lowest priced property that sold in first quarter of 2025, that single family home sold for $225,000. And on the flip side of it, then, the highest price sale in the first quarter of 2025 was $860,000.
So, and on average, it took 41 days to sell those.
Yes.
So, big gap in prices. There always is in the northwest suburbs.
Yes.
Between ones that 225 need lots and lots of work.
Yes.
So, and then the bigger, fancier home sold for $850,000. So you're going to have big gaps in that.
But there's also something for everybody.
There you go. That's the beauty of Des Plaines, Illinois. So, and then now going over the first quarter of 2026, from January 1st to March 31st, 86 homes have sold. That's a smidge more, 5 properties, which is pretty negligible compared to the first quarter of 2025. Average list price was up a little bit. It was $443,000.
So $13,000 more than 2025.
On average. So as a percentage, not a lot, but up. So if you're a homeowner, you like that. And the average sale price, again, that was up a little bit as well to $448,000. Once again, in the first quarter of this year compared to the first quarter last year, homes sold a little bit more than the asking price.
Yep.
Now, the days on market is almost half of what it shows
Yep.
at 18 days versus 41 days. However,
Yeah.
we're doing a smaller sample size because all the properties that's listed between January 1st of this year and March 31st of this year, there's a whole bunch that are still under contract waiting to close, and we don't have the average market time on those calculated yet because we don't know what day they closed, and the way the MLS works, some of the stats keep rolling until the
Yes.
property actually closes. So we'll know that probably for next month's report.
Yes.
Or next quarter's report.
Next quarter's report. And you did mention that some of the properties are under contract. There are also properties in that grouping that we don't have the solid data from yet that are still for sale. So not everything that listed in the first quarter of 2026 has found the right buyer yet.
There we go.
So there's opportunities sitting there as well. But if we want to take a look at the pricing again, just like we did for the 2025, the lowest single family home that's for sale in Des Plaines right now is $220,000. As we've said in the past, those properties at that pricing is usually there for a reason.
There you go.
But it is also a great opportunity if you have the skills and the time and the funds to do a renovation. So that could be a great opportunity. On the other end of the spectrum, the highest priced property that is part of that data Joe was talking about that is still under contract, waiting to close, was at $1.1 million for their list price. We don't know what those sale prices are going to be until after they close. That's confidential information. But all we know is that a property in Des Plaines that was listed for $1.1 million has a buyer.
Has found a buyer.
Yes.
And just waiting to close on it.
Yep.
So now let's move on to what they call the attached properties, which are condos, duplexes, townhomes. It means they're attached to other living quarters.
Attached to each other.
And it can vary. It can vary from a studio, which has no bedrooms, to the bigger, newer townhouses, which have 3 and 4 bedrooms.
But there is a common wall somewhere that someone is sharing.
That's why they get grouped into the attached properties.
Yes, and we did not break those out. So we're not taking it all out as condos and townhomes. We just kept it all together.
Squish it together like the MLS does.
Right.
The multiple listing service. So in the first quarter of 2025, there were 127 properties that listed. So a pretty decent number, pretty consistent, still historically low, by the way. More than single family homes, believe it or not. People don't always realize that. The list price averaged of $294, and the sale price averaged $294.
Exactly.
So almost right on the button. I think it might have been a couple $100 more, but we rounded it.
Yeah.
So it's negligible. So they're selling for what they list for, which again would indicate a seller's market.
Yeah, not everyone, but we took the average.
There you go. And the average days on the market for the first quarter of attached properties last year was, I'm going to say, only 36 days. Mm-hmm. If you remember, if it's below 120 days, National Association of Realtors consider that a seller's market, and it's even it would be 2/3 below that number.
Exactly. So again, looking at pricing, if we wanted to see what that lowest attached property, I have a stinking feeling that it's a condo, was listed at $105,000, and then the highest sale price last year that listed in the first quarter was $533,000. Now we do know that out of a lot of those listings last year, many of them were in the townhome community that was on Oakton, Halston Market.
Right by the post office.
Yes.
Right. The now first quarter 2026. So there are 122 new listings between January 1st and March 31st. 5 less than 2025. Again, pretty much meaningless. So it's about the same. So the market's still pretty much the same. The average list price on that was down a smidge at $276,000, and the average sale price was $259,000. However, we're still dealing with a smaller pool of numbers because we're waiting for some properties to close. So I predict that gap's going to close up a little bit once all these properties that are under contract do finally close, and we average market time of 32 days, which still indicates for attached property, so your condos, townhouses, it's still a seller's market.
Yes. Looking at the comparison of the 2 years, because we have been following this for a long time, circling back to that townhome community, Halston Market that was down on Oakton, the reduction in some of the average list prices, sale prices, might have significantly changed in 2026 because that inventory has moved out of the market and has closed. So it doesn't mean that there's any sort of crash in the condo or townhome market by any means. It just means that some of the highest priced townhomes that we had, brand new construction in Des Plaines, have all found their owners.
Yeah, it's a big sign right out in front. It says sold out.
Exactly. Good for them. That's great for the community, but it is going to impact the average sale prices and the market a little bit since those have moved out.
And it's bringing in tax dollars, so hopefully it keeps our real estate taxes lower.
Exactly. Now, if we do want to end this by taking a look again at the 2026 highs and lows of where our listings are right now, the lowest priced attached property that we have right now is at $145. So that compares to last year at about to 105. So we're a little bit higher than that.
A lot of percentage.
That's a lot higher. So that's good for the owners of the attached market. And then our high is at 534,
which is pretty much was the same as
and that was not one of the Halston Market properties. So
it's
like we said, those are all closed.
Bring up the prices of those townhomes.
Exactly. If you're considering a move to Des Plaines, or if you want to talk about market stats anymore as a seller, what that would mean for you, we are Joe and Jean Marella with the Spouses Selling Houses team at Keller Williams. We've lived in Des Plaines for over 35 years, and we'd be happy to be your guide on all of the ins and outs of how to make Des Plaines your home.
Thanks.